Probably been the hardest thing in lockdown is actually when we're talking about being a dad, it's actually having a puppy on top of having kids has been interesting.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
I might go and just show him off just for the cute factor.
Yeah, I really want to meet your puppy anyway. With lockdown, it's just built this big chicken run, and we bought 3 chickens. Look at this!
Wow.
Hello.
So this is Ted.
Oh, he's well cute.
Hello, Ted. Hello.
I was telling the guys that we got chickens as pets for the kid. Well, because one of our kids, I've got 2 boys. One's 12, nearly 13. The other one's 9. And the 12-year-old's been angling for all different types of pets. And what we finally settled on was 3 chickens. So that's what he's been doing in lockdown. It's just like doing we built the cage. We built a massive run. And then he's been sort of cleaning that out and sort of making sure they got enough food and everything. He's really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's quite good. It's been right. We've sort of gotten into the role of it. If I'm honest, my wife's taken a hit for the team in terms of looking after the girls. So we got 2 girls, 5 and 7, Shamiso and Matida, sort of Zimbabwean names. So it's been she's sort of been taking care of that side of things. I'm sort of the self-styled head of PE, so I just sort of walk in, sort of run races up and down the garden, and that's it done.
A big juggling act in our house because at first my wife was furloughed, so she was able to sort of make sure the house sort of ran really efficiently, and the kids, and she put loads of effort into educating our younger boy. But then she's recently gone back to work again. It's descended into like chaos. So it's like everything's a mess. Everything's like, and the cooking, like getting to the dinner and everything's really hard. And the older boy's got really good. He's been educated still, but the younger boy, like, there's no one there to really educate him or sort of make sure he's on track. So I found that really hard.
He's just gone feral.
His hair's got really long. He's got like face paint on. He's disappeared.
like Lord of the Flies.
He's gone really Lord of the Flies, yeah.
Tom, interesting, and they've kind of not got names either. Just
Toby and Henry. So Toby's the older one. Henry's the younger one. Yeah, when he went feral, we just took away his name, so we just called him. Are your kids old enough to make a cup of tea, Seth?
Training them. So yeah, my kids Finn and Grace. So Finn's 8 and Grace is 5. But there is a kind of weird new routine. I know Matt had asked us. So in the morning when we're at breakfast, I love coffee. So we've got filter coffee, but they now are obsessed with actually pushing the filter down.
Yeah.
So each morning I have to take it in turns with them. So they, take it to actually just push the filter down, and they seem to love it. It's kind of, simple things.
Yeah, forget toys.
I've always loved doing that. I pretend I'm like Wile E. Coyote putting one of those bombs down, in Roadrunner.
My situation at the moment is I'll do a mix of being in head office and being at home. So my wife she works part-time, so we've kind of got quite a good balance of being able to support the kids. Kind of in the office 2 or 3 days, and then at home just doing a mix and match. But the best thing was my boss had let me start earlier in the day, so then I could finish earlier. So for quite a while I've been starting pretty early, so it means that I can then finish and then just sort of take over if my wife's been sort of with the kids all day or she's been at work. We were able to kind of do a mix and match, which has been really helpful, that kind of flexibility. But the home office has been either the spare room, which started on the desk was an ironing board and a small IKEA chair from Finley's room. So finally upgraded that into a proper setup. But for a while I was working on an ironing board and I was like, why is my back hurting? But now from a health and safety point of view, we're all good, we're all safe. And then when I want to change it,
I'm in the ironing room as well, look. I sleep down here.
Yeah.
I've been sort of going into the office a bit, if I'm honest, just to break the week up a bit. And then, yeah, the rest of the time in my little sort of matchbox here at home. But yeah, no, it sort of works well. I mean, I don't live in a palace like Seth, so I can still pretty much hear what's going on around the house. In terms of, and so I do tend to sort of, sort of swan down from my from my tower, see, get involved in what's going on, and then sort of go back up again. So it's a nice one. So, usually my walk to, I don't know, the vending machine or to the water machine has now been replaced by sort of going down to the fridge or getting involved in whatever sort of junk modeling game is happening in the garden or whatever, So it's,
do you guys have lunch with your family?
Say again, Tom.
Do you guys have lunch with your family? Do you like break for lunch with them?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, that's been one of the good things of lockdown is finishing earlier, kind of in the afternoon has meant that we've had tea together. Oh, look at this, right on cue.
Anyway, sorry, yeah. So lunchtimes, yeah.
So yeah, lunchtime. What was cool? We've got a pizza oven for the garden, so we made pizza the weekend. We had enough dough left over, and they'd spot it in the fridge yesterday. So yesterday lunchtime, we got the dough out and made pizzas and chucked them in the oven. It was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
Have you made your own pizza oven? Did you say?
No.
Came with the house, or you bought it?
Came with the house. No. Came with the palace, as James would say.
For me and my the designers that work in menswear, we've been able to focus on product a lot more because there's like fewer distractions when you're working at home. So they've been able to sort of go into the office occasionally to do range building and sort of plan things out and take briefs. And then when they've been at home, they've had less commuting, more time to focus, fewer like meetings, which they sort of semi need to be in, semi don't. And then they've just become more efficient and able to create better work, like they're more freed up. So that's been a really big bonus for me and my team.
I think a lot of what we do as a team is, dealing with a lot of external people. So we're on the phone quite a lot, whether it's with the warehouse or with our forwarders or people in origin. So we tend to be sometimes sort of in those situations where, you're working by yourself or, you need to get stuff done. So a bit like what Tom's saying, in that concentrated sort of space, which has really been good, I think, certainly from a productivity point of view. Everyone's been able to sort of to get through things without the distractions. We started having sort of morning, I call them team stand-ups, but they obviously we're all probably all sat in our chairs. But the really good thing about those has been sort of everyone's been sort of connecting in and you're listening to what everyone else is doing. Whereas sometimes in the office when we have team updates, it's it's very quick. We don't have them as regularly. So because we're having them daily, you're able to pick up on things and everyone's a lot more aware of what each others are doing. And everyone's sort of, in a sense, sort of a bit more well-rounded. And we've got a team out in Pune who are part of that call as well. And I found we're working so much better together.
So external people as well. Your sort of communication with externals has got more effective.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we're sort of, connecting a lot more. There's more understanding around why we do certain things.
We're looking for, hopefully we'll be able to work out a way of mixing working from home and working in the office. Because we can't let go of the product. We can't stop. There's loads of judgments you can't make unless you're looking at product and you're in building ranges. But, so it's a combination of the two ways of working I'm looking forward to. We're finding much easier to communicate, and we're finding that the Google, the documents, sharing all the stuff in the shared files has been absolutely brilliant. So that's been a big bonus for us as well. We won't go back to working in the old way. We'll just use these. I reckon they're way more efficient. So easy to send links around.
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed when you talk about communication with your teams? Have you noticed if you've changed your communication style at home as well?
Oh, what, with my wife?
Or your kids?
I'm certainly a lot more direct.
Okay.
And I think there is. I think
clear. Do you mean clear rather than direct?
Yeah. Well, yes. Let's soften that a bit, shall we? No, but I think in terms of just being aware of certain things that they do, and whereas like before, they're at school all the time or that sort of thing. Time spent with them has been sort of, it's revealed a number of things actually, that like even in helping school them or do things like that, you get a bit more to understand where they're coming from and what in what sort of space they are. I think they have suffered a bit from lockdown fatigue, and so a lot more like sort of like sensitive to, I don't know whether it's girls or just really sort of like just finding just it's the end of the world because something fell on the floor or they didn't get the sweet that they wanted. And
what's been good is that actually lots and lots of people completely understand where you're at and empathize with you. So the amount of people that I've been on calls with where they've had challenges with their own kids in the background, so you don't feel as bad. Because I'm mortified every time the kids want to pop up and I'm like, oh, I'm on a call. But actually, as I get used to it, everyone understands and sometimes can be quite cute with it as well. The funniest thing recently, so we had a call earlier and my daughter, all of a sudden in the bottom of my screen, I just see this little dog just come up like this.
Happening again.
And then down like that. And everyone seems to just kind of stop and chuckle, or the kids kind of walk in and then everyone stops what they're saying and start waving at the kids. So I think that they're either tolerating it or they understand the challenges and pressures. But we've got a colleague in HR that her daughter, bless her, is very fond of Frozen. So there's often princess outfits when she walks into the back of the video calls and stuff, or without any clothes on either one. So I think everybody's kind of in the same boat, really.
My kid's taken up, like loads and loads of kids, I think, but baking in a really major way. And so he'll work out in the morning what he wants to cook, and then he'll make it, and but my wife and I have got nothing to do with it, and like we don't have any sort of like, he just does it on his own. And so he's 9, and the other day he made these really impressive cheese souffles.
Oh, wow.
In these little ramekins. And then we were like, we finished the day about sort of 5:30, and my wife and I sort of emerged from our offices and then went into the kitchen, and he had sort of made, and they tasted absolutely amazing. So like, and he's all self-taught, and like the kitchen was an absolute bomb site. There's flour everywhere, bits of cheese.
So just shows what you can do when you neglect your kids, Tom.
I know, I've got to do a bit more neglecting because he's really excelling.
It's funny, being in the department I work in, I've noticed my children have copied a similar communication style in giving feedback. So, not work related, but I was jet washing the patio the other weekend, and Finn obviously wanted something, so he thought, how could I approach this? So he came up to me, he said, oh, can I just interrupt you? I said, yeah, sure. He said, first thing, great job so far with the patio. Yeah. And then he went on to say, can I have an apple or something like that? But I was like, whoa, he's giving me some feedback, make me feel good, and then actually lead with a question. I thought, get them into HR as soon as they can. But I have noticed, back onto that communication thing, that I've had to be a lot more prescriptive in explaining. So it's not just enough for me to say I'm on a call. I've noticed that I actually have to explain what I'm doing on the call for them to understand, if it's important or if it's a sensitive topic and whatever it might be. I've had to kind of manage their expectations a little, so it's actually improved my communication. And then particularly with things like, actually, they always ask me at the end of the day now, what have you done today? So I have to kind of get myself ready to explain and justify what I've done to my kids, because otherwise, if I say, oh, I've just had calls all day, they just don't get it. So it's been quite good to actually try and help them understand a little bit more of what I do. So
that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
because I've had, all you do is just chat all day. You're like,
Yeah, they don't think you've got a real job, do they?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've got like for me, I'm not talking about you, James, by the way. I'm just talking about one generally. But your kids don't know. My kids don't think I've got a real job. They just think they just think I choose colours. That's all. That's all I do. They're just like, yeah, it's really easy. I could do that, Dad. It's no problem. It's just choosing colours. I mean, how hard is it?
How hard is it, Tom?
Yeah, not that bad. It's not that hard. Is that the same with you, James and Seth? Do you find that like your kids don't think you've got a real job?
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, I've been with my daughters into the office, so they sort of see where I sit and that sort of thing. And then, yeah, sort of, you know, during lockdown, they've met various members of the team. I think one of them walked in on a team meeting and then sort of had a quick hello with everyone on there. But yeah, it's that sort of thing that, well, you just chat all day and you just stare at your computer. No, I'm actually doing work. But just trying to explain that concept to them, it's a bit more difficult.
I've been thinking today about like, do you think, because one of my older kids, he's working really hard at the moment, and he's definitely working harder than I did when I was his age. And I was thinking maybe he's watching my wife and I work and sort of like absorbing, you know, the work ethic and like the seriousness of working. And he's like looking at that and thinking, you know, maybe, you know, because they don't really get to see you during the day. For all they know, you just go to the office and drink coffee. But
some of us do.
Yeah. I sort of wonder whether you're actually watching your work and it's a bit of a positive, like to show how hard work really is and how like hard it is to interrupt and how focused you are during the day.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's having a positive impact on the kids in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. I think certainly with, I think probably at the age your boys are in terms of that sort of preteen sort of, you know,
preteen, yeah.
You probably see what's modeled before you and you sort of follow it, you know, a lot more. I think sometimes I find like, you know, because there's a lot going on at work and the girls are like, oh, can you just come down and do this? Can you just come down and do this? I find I can't.
You're so right though, James. It's because we're so used to being in the office before lockdown that those interruptions weren't there, but then now actually, you know, they're saying, oh, can I interrupt you? Can I talk to you? Can I show you? And it's made me more patient, if anything. With them, it's actually being patient, listening to them, and then trying to, again, like I said before, manage their expectations of, oh, well, I will speak to you, or I will have a catch up or a play at certain times. So now they tend to ask in the morning, oh, what calls have you got and when today, so that they can actually see when they might be able to get some time with me. Yeah.
Actually, you know, but we were talking about earlier, sometimes you're worried about, oh, does this look right, etc. And having the kids coming in, you know, it's just like, hey guys, it's okay. It'll all turn out well in the end. And I think just, you know, if I think about when we went into a lockdown, the amount of anxiety that was sort of there, what do I need to do? I need to make sure that I'm, you know, sort of doing this and doing that and and we've got this as sort of, you know, just sometimes taking a moment to take a breath and just relax and just, you know, step out of yourself and just chill. I think it's probably, you know, I'm a pretty chilled person anyway, but yeah, I think that's been something that's stood me in a good stead through this.
I think patience is really key. And then related to that is also like, just don't try and like be on top of everything, like just be more accepting of the situation we're in. Like someone showed me a Zoom call. I did a Zoom call or one of these calls earlier on, and someone like twisted their camera around. It was Mark, and he twisted his camera around to show me the room he was in, and it was absolutely full of toys and like overturned washing and, you know, like kids running around. And he was like, yeah, I'm not in control, Mark. He said, I'm not in control at all. So I feel like, I was like, oh yeah, okay, so it's not just me that my house is a complete tip and there's dust everywhere.
I agree with both of you. That I was going to say patience straight away, and then that thing that you said, Tom, of not being too hard on yourself. I think it's accepting that this situation, it is what it is, and some things are out of our control. So we've just got to kind of accept it, and then understand that everyone is in a similar boat. because it's new for everybody. So not being too hard on yourself. I think for me, the one thing that's really worked is for the kids is getting them out exercising first thing.
Oh yeah.
Like I've talked about going for a walk. It seems to be on days when they've either gone for a walk with me first thing, like 8, half 8, or we've done some basketball in the garden before they start their work. They seem to be better. I don't know whether that's a thing or not, but that's definitely helped my kids is them doing some sort of exercise or leg stretch after breakfast seems to focus them, and has focused me as well. So yeah, going out for a walk early doors has definitely helped. So that would be my top tip.